Yo, what is going on, guys? You know what it is. Söze's House, episode 8. As per usual. Yeah, I said as per usual. I am behind. It seems to be a never-ending theme in my life. I keep thinking that as I get older, and I know everyone else thinks this too. I've heard people talk about it, but like, I genuinely wonder if there's ever going to be a time in my life where I'm just like comfortable, you know? I mean, not like comfortable in my own skin or shit like that, but just like, oh, hold on. There we go. Just like comfortable, like if there's ever going to be a time where I don't feel like I'm falling behind, even if I'm not falling behind, I always feel like I have a constant fear, I think, of like running out of time. I mean, realistically, I probably have some sort of anxiety. I mean, I just feel like I have regular anxiety, which, everyone experiences anxiety. I don't think I have like severe anxiety or whatnot, but I always feel uneasy. Like, even when I'm relaxing, there's this little thought in the back of my head where I'm like, what are you doing? You're running out of time. Which I know sounds, I don't know, maybe it sounds normal, maybe it sounds kind of weird, but like specifically that thought that I'm running out of time. Not even necessarily that I'm behind, because like right now I'm legitimately behind. I have a lot of shit to do. I keep on taking more and more projects on, just in life in general, which is good. But I think I might need to pull it back here soon, because I actually, though I don't like to, I'm not sure, right? Like, I think maybe I bit off more than I can chew. On the other hand, I'm like, no, you're just doing more than you're used to. You just need to elevate your game and become used to this level of work, right? But I wonder if that's true, or if I just always think I'm not doing enough, even if I'm doing too much. Um, I think I'm a little neurotic, realistically. Uh, but I just feel like, I don't know. I hope when I'm 40, I mean, maybe not 40, that's kind of young. Like, I don't necessarily want to retire, kind of ever, but early is retiring early isn't necessarily like a goal of mine, because like I'm trying to do what I love doing, right? So, I mean, obviously, if I come to a point where I don't want to do it anymore, or I don't enjoy it, then obviously the goal is to stop. But for the foreseeable future, like, I want to be making music all the time. But for me, I feel like the definition of, like, workshops and shit, like, I've been to like those success workshops when I was younger and stuff, and like, they always ask you, like, as far as like the mentality, like, what does success mean to you? And like, that shit just turned brighter. Goddamn. Is that my imagination, or did that light just flash for a second? I feel like for me, I just want to feel at ease, you know. Realistically, I need to meditate. Like, I need to start chilling out in, I don't know, like the personal sense. Like, I'm a very chill person, as you can tell from like the way that I talk, and you know, my entire demeanor of just, I'm super laid back, but my brain is kind of neurotic. Yeah, I need to start meditating, but I don't like I mean, obviously this is a symptom of, or this is the reason I need to meditate, but like the thought of sitting somewhere, and I've meditated before and I do really enjoy it. It is very calming, but the first 0 to 5 minutes, it's fucking rough. I hate it. I feel, oh man, I get antsy. I'm antsy all the time. Like I'm always either like doing something with my fingers, like I don't know what this technically is, but like pulling at my cuticle. I don't know, just like scratching my fingers. I'm always popping my knuckles, just something. I'm always moving just a little bit. I'm throwing one of these finger. Like this is crazy. If you saw someone sitting there in public and they were like this, you'd be like, "Oh, that's a crackhead." Like just you're just sitting in a coffee shop, like just jittery. Like that doesn't seem healthy. But that's me. I'm always moving or talking, or I always have to have some sort of stimulation. Um, in fact, I've been listening to audiobooks. I don't know why I pointed to my ear. Um, I mean, realistically, I know I'm recording this video, but I think more than anything, more people listen to podcasts than watch videos. And considering I just started this a little while ago, it's very unlikely someone's watching it. They're probably listening to it, right? So I probably need to remember that. Uh, but anyways, I was hearing like this buzzing, like this high frequency, just like kind of whine, and in my vocals for my last song I released, and it was like at 9 to 11,000 hertz, which is, for people who don't know, like a high frequencies. And I kept I was using the EQ, I was using a multi-band compressor, and I mean, I used multiple EQs at the same spot, and I couldn't get rid of the whistle, the little whiny sound. And I checked old recordings, I checked new recordings, I did brand new recordings. I made sure I disconnected all of my hardware, powered it all down, reconnected it, everything. Still hearing this whine. And so I'm like, oh, my mic's broken, right? But then I was listening to a podcast and I could hear the whine in there too. And I came to the conclusion that I'd damaged my ears a little bit. I don't know from what I think it is I've been listening to audiobooks. You know, it's funny, I totally forgot why I started talking about this, but I was talking about audiobooks. I've been listening to audiobooks when I go to sleep. It just helps me sleep. I used to listen to like comedy, like on Pandora. Like I just turn on a comedy station and just listen to stand up until I fell asleep. Can't really do it with music because music will make me want to sing along or whatnot. Especially because obviously with rhythms, you can predict where it's going. My mind's still thinking ahead. Like I'm expecting something. With comedy, I find, for the most part, that I'm just along for the ride. So that was a really weird way to describe stand-up comedy. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe that made sense. Anyways, so I've been sleeping with Apple headphones in. And as everyone knows, or if you haven't noticed because you've only ever used Apple headphones are, they're kind of shit. I'm just being honest. They're kind of shit. Their low end is garbage. I mean, even their mid range is okay, but then I feel like the high end, it's very sharp, man. And personally, I hate them because I have a very sharp tone to my voice, especially like when I sing or I'm doing something loud. I have a very scratchy, kind of higher voice, And so my voice is very sharp on Apple headphones. But anyways, I was falling asleep with the headphones in and listening to audiobooks. And for whatever reason, the series I'm listening to, they change narrators every book, but every narrator has been a female. And I don't know if this is what caused it, but I do know that, well, the only other thing that's been happening recently is I've been working a shit ton on music. So I've had headphones on or I'm listening to speakers nonstop. But I don't tend to listen too loud. That's never hurt my ears before. This is the only thing that's changed is I'll sleep with those headphones in. And because they're in Apple headphones, the high pitches are really sharp. And then because it's a female reading it, they've all had kind of higher voices. Excuse me. So that's sharp as well. I think it damaged my ear, which is low-key. It was kind of a scary thing. Not in like oh, I think I'm going to die, but just like, I produce music. If my ears get damaged and now I can't hear things properly, and I already have kind of rough hearing. When I was a kid, like most kids, or not, a lot of kids didn't do this. I found out like what other people think is loud. No, man, I listen to music loud. So I've damaged my ears a lot. Like I can't hear frequencies that you're supposed to be able to hear till you're like 40. My ears are fucked up. But I can hear well enough to produce, I think, at least at this point. But then I was like, oh wow, what if like this whining whistle doesn't go away ever? Like that would really fuck up my whole plan here. Cause I wouldn't be able to, like what I'm hearing, it kind of made me realize like how much I take hearing for granted, given how kind of pivotal. Nah, not pivotal. I don't know what word I'm trying to find, but how much of a key thing it is in what I'm trying to do with my life. Like if I hurt my ears, I mean, that's it. That's basically, I mean, it's not a wrap. I could obviously still make music, but as far as editing it, that would be pretty rough. I mean, I could still do a lot of the legwork, but especially as far as EQing or anything goes, anything involving intonation, tonal qualities, whatever. I mean, I'd be fucked. I'd have to hire someone. I mean, yeah, I could do that. Plenty of people, you know what I mean? Plenty of people don't produce at all. They just write, they perform, etc. But I enjoy this process. Plus, ultimately, it saves me money. Like, that was the whole reason I started making music and learning how to do production is I was like, I could pay a lot of money, especially over the amount of time that I'll be making music to other people, or I could just learn how to do this myself, and so far it's going pretty well. I would definitely, as things start moving, I'm definitely gonna, collab with more producers and there's a couple like producers that I would love to sit down with and see how they do things. But then I would like, you know what I mean, to like adapt that into my repertoire. I don't think I've ever said that word out loud. Just because I don't know, I feel like even if I did have a producer, I'd still be heavily involved. I don't know, because then again, like the other day I was saying that I wish I did have a producer and I could just point them in a direction, have them do most of the legwork, and then be like, okay. I was watching a thing with Noah Shabib, who's Drake's producer, one of his main producers. I think it's like his main producer, but anyways, he just, like the way he was talking, I was like, we totally see things differently. Like I see things as the writer, right? I'm writing these songs. His whole creative process is you give me the raw materials and I can envision what it could become, right? My creative process is I start with nothing and I develop the raw materials. And I think there's a point that I was trying to make that I forget. Oh, I remember. The point was, I kind of think of even music on an individual. It's not even an individual basis, right? Because like, take Drake, just because we were talking about Noah should be. Drake writes his song. He writes the lyrics to a beat that more than likely another producer made. Um, so you have the producer who makes the beat. Sometimes that's multiple people involved in that process. You have Drake writing the lyrics, and then he records them. And then Noah Shabib. So at minimum, we've got two people. And then Noah Shabib takes those raw, man, my brain is just takes those raw elements. Jesus Christ. Anyways, takes those raw elements and you know what I mean? Like, raw hip hop is so much different than produced hip hop. Like, let's be very clear. Anyone who's like, nah, this is just what I sound like in real life. No, it's not. I don't sound like that in real life. Now, don't get me wrong. Someone can just, I'm not going to do that because of the microphone. Someone could just bang a beat out on a wall or something, and I could rap to it. And if it needs to be tonal, I can do that. It won't be perfect because I'm a person. Like, I mean, like, look at songs from like the 70s, 60s and 70s specifically. Back when, I mean, digital was, I don't even think digital was a thing in the 60s at all. And I think it only became a thing really in the 70s. I don't remember anything. I mean, like, obviously you had computers and shit like that in the 60s. Although I don't know if record companies did. I know they existed, but they weren't like common. So I don't know. Anyways, it just goes to show how little I know about everything in life. Like the Beatles, right? If you actually listen to the Beatles songs, they're not perfect. The singing isn't always perfect. It's very, very, very close. Don't get me wrong. Talented artists are talented, but they don't sound like songs. Plain and simple. And I don't think a lot of young cats realize this anymore. Like, I had a kid, I had this 14-year-old kid, like, come at me on Instagram because I used auto-tune on something. First of all, I was using auto-tune on a Travis Scott remix. Like, what? Do you think I wasn't gonna auto-tune it? Travis Scott remix. Yeah. There's a shitload of auto-tune on it. Duh. But, like, auto-tune, Melodyne, all types of tuners. They're used on every single artist you like in basically every genre. Country, auto-tune, Melodyne. Hip-hop, auto-tune, Melodyne. Rock, hip-hop, Melodyne. Folk music. Folk music I'm not for sure about, but I'm 99% sure about. If something sounds really raw and intimate, there might be nothing on it. You know, my project I'm doing right now, Unplugged, it of course is processed, but I'm trying to give it as much of a raw, real feel as I can while also maintaining like an up-to-date sound quality. But there's still processing involved in that. You know what I mean? At minimum, compression, which I'm not going to get into what a compressor does, because most people don't care. Maybe I should. I've been thinking about doing some like mixing videos and maybe my writing process and yada yada. But getting ahead of myself. I don't need to take on more shit to do. I forgot what I was saying again. God damn it. My memory's dog shit. It's getting worse. Something tells me I'm gonna have Alzheimer's when I'm older. Like, I mean, my great grandma has Alzheimer's, so it wouldn't surprise me, but hopefully not, because that would suck. But anyways, oh, that's right. So this kid was getting on me about using auto-tune, and like, auto-tune is on it. Like, obviously, if you're just like legitimately rapping, you probably won't have auto-tune on there, right? Like, people don't realize, like, Future is not rapping. I mean, he's rapping, obviously, but he's doing it in a very melodic way, the same way that Drake does. You know, that's how pretty much everyone does it nowadays, unless you're rapping, like, in the classic sense. Like, Logic doesn't use, I mean, I've heard him use it on some songs, but that style of rapping, J. Cole uses it a bit more now as well, I've noticed, on King of Drugs. But King of Drugs was supposed to kind of be, it was supposed to be that style of music. And to be fair, it's used on everything. Everything. Plain and simple. Like, I'm just telling y'all. Everyone knows this. I thought. Maybe everyone doesn't know this, but everyone is using it. It's, I mean, if Drake put out Scorpion, but that was his last album, right? Yeah, I think his next one comes out soon. But if Drake put out Scorpion without any tuning, it would be not only probably not as popular, just plain and simple, like, it would change the vibe of it completely. Like, a natural tone, it's a different vibe. You know what I mean? Even if you don't really perceive it, auto-tune still makes changes, right? And just because they're not so apparent that you're like, oh, that's auto-tuned. If you turned it off, whether it's the whole thing or just at certain parts, you'd be like, oh, okay, now I see where, you know what I mean? Maybe everyone doesn't know this. Maybe I just know this because I've worked with auto-tune. But anyways, once again, I've gone on way too long about too few topics. I was talking about my anxiety. Yeah, man, so I fucked up my ears, and I kind of wanted to, right, we were supposed to go camping, and then these fires happened in California, and so our camping got canceled. But I was looking forward to camping because I wanted to just go into the forest and not have to hear cars and fucking construction and neighbors and yada yada. I just wanted it to be quiet, because even, yeah, there's noises in the forest, obviously, but they're small noises for the most part, obviously. Fucking bear runs up on you. But anyways, that got canceled. And so I was thinking about doing a day of one, no talking. I saw this other artist, Anise. I hope I said that right. I've never actually heard his name said. And he, I think he read it in a book or something, but about doing a talking fast. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds difficult as fuck. I talk a lot. I don't know if I could go a whole day without talking, but I kind of want to try. But I was thinking I would also like to do a day with just like earplugs in. Reduce noise as much as possible. And just, like, there's always so much, I like stimulation, but you also can't escape. Like, my fridge is running, my air conditioner is going, I can hear the cars driving by, and I can hear my neighbor downstairs, I can hear my computer when the fan turns on. Like, there's just always some sort of noise, which is why I wanted to go camping. There's noise, but one, it's not a constant. There's kind of like, electronics have a constant noise. There's some sort of humming or whirring, whirring, whir. Yeah, whirring. That's right. Sounds weird, but there's always some just constant drone in society, in my opinion. In my experience, not opinion. I mean, um, and I kind of wish I could just turn off sounds for a day. Sounds a little weird. On the one hand, I love sounds. I make music. On the other hand, music's a great point. Music is played everywhere nowadays. And so I think it is kind of less special. Not to sound all fucking religious about it, but, back before modern, recordings of music, or even just recordings of music, music was something that you only heard when a person was playing it. And, that wasn't every single time you walk into a Starbucks or a fucking Jamba Juice. And so you kind of just, I felt that way as well. Like, I hear music everywhere I go. And I wonder if it's that I've gotten older, or as I've gotten older, I've heard more and more music nonstop. So music is less special. Because when you're a kid, I mean, obviously, to whatever genre or particular that you like. I don't think I'm sure there's some people who just don't like music. I've got to imagine there's at least one person, right? Because if there's one, if you can, then you can't. And there's got to be some people who are like, no, I don't like any music. I just, for what? Maybe there's not. I don't know. Anyways, I wonder if it's that I'm older, so I'm, set in my patterns. I've taken in the genres and the things for the most part that were out when I was a young kid, and they've built those pathways. Maybe that's it, because I've gotten older, because 14-year-olds lose their mind more for an artist than I will ever lose my mind again, right? I mean, a 50-year-old who becomes infatuated with an upcoming artist is, let's just be honest, it's a little like, what? It's a little weird. Or is it that music has become just more readily accessible at any time, any place since I was a kid? You know what I mean? We had MP3s. My first ever listening device was a fucking a CD player. I know there's someone out there is gonna hear this and be like, my first listening device was, yeah, you're old, bitch. I'm not. I'm just kidding. It was a CD player. So I listened to the same 3 CDs over and over again. Not really 3 CDs, because, my mom obviously had a shitload of CDs. But like my CDs, I only had like 3 or 4. And I do think, to an extent, it's kind of like TV. You know what I mean? Katie and I talk about this all the time. I miss standard TV. I kind of miss those commercials too. Like, it was nice to have a break in between shows to kind of pull you out of that trance. Especially when it's over, you could be like, all right, I'm going to move on to something else now. But now you don't even get, the show doesn't even end. It just fades right into the next episode. And I can never decide what to put on. There's too many options. I sound old as fuck, but I'm just being real. When I was growing up, we didn't have I think we just had the most basic cable package, whatever the fuck. So we had 60 channels. That's probably not the most basic. The most basic's probably free, and it comes with 8. I don't know. Anyways, we didn't have a whole lot of channels, but we had enough channels, right? But only 6 of those channels were things that people watched anyways, like TNT, yeah, USA, A&E, Comedy Central, Fox. Oh, what was the one with the man show on it? The symbol was green, or not green, it was yellow. Spike TV, MTV, VH1. So at 9, I think we had TBS and ABC. So 10 or 11 channels. But whatever was on those channels, that's what I was watching. If it was reruns, if it was something new, I had to find something. And if there wasn't anything on I wanted to watch, I moved on to the next fucking thing in life. I was like, all right, well, I'll go shoot. Go play some basketball with the neighbors. I don't know. Maybe I play a game. Maybe I read. I know read. You wouldn't think so, but I read. Not really anymore. Just being real. But I did. I used to read like a motherfucker. Fucking most badass. I miss liking to read books. Now I'm like, wow, that's so much time. Like, that's a lot of time. You know what I mean? I'm having a rough week, y'all. Anyways, I'm going to end this. I got so much shit to do. I hope everyone has a good weekend. I'm going to be posting this in like an hour or so. Hopefully. If everything goes as planned. Anyways, bye, people. Oh my God, I did it again. I did the bye, people. Oy.